the money we are giving to you, that our government is giving to Ukraine, is not only going to weapons. We taxpayers are paying for their bureaucracy.
Yeah.
We are paying for their administrators. We are paying to
135 billion.
Wow.
Yeah. So the president's asking for another
just
24.
asked Congress.
24.
Now, is that August 15th? When was the fire?
August 8th.
So this is after the
August
fire.
8th.
He's asking Congress for $24 billion for the war in Ukraine and $0 for Maui.
And 10% for the big guy. You'd have to think. You'd have to think that. That's why it's easier to track the money when you bring it to Hawaii because all of our eyes are on.
Yeah.
I don't even think he can be corrupt anymore. I mean, I think he's just living. He's just eating ice cream and just waiting for the ticker to stop. But this is insanity. This is like true insanity. And this is like the opposite of what the whole idea of electing people for office is that these people are going to care about us and do the right thing for the community because they're one of us. That's what we want. That's what we want. We want someone who's one of us.
Yeah.
And when you see that, especially from these guys like Biden that are these career politicians, they're the opposite of one of us. They've been in that system forever. They've been playing that game forever.
Yeah. You know, the excuse that Pete Buttigieg was the guy that the Biden administration sent to East Palestine. Of course, he showed up. He announced he was going only when Trump announced that he was going. He literally showed up there the day after Trump went and visited the people there. But, you know, the excuse that he gave is a common excuse that's given by people in government when they don't show up for people is, well, you know, I didn't want to get, which is Biden, I didn't want to get in the way of the response. You know, I'm busy doing things in my office to try to help, et cetera, et cetera. But my point is, like, Joe, if a really good friend of yours or your child or someone in your family was hurt for whatever reason, was in pain, was suffering, even if you are not in a personal position to be able to alleviate that pain and suffering, what's the first thing you do?
Go to them.
You show up.
Yeah.
And you say, I love you. I care about you. I'm here for you. Tell me how I can help. And this is what I heard from officials on Maui at every level of the government is like, well, how do we know what they need? How do we best help? How do we best support? You will not know unless you show up and say, I am here for you. Yeah. Tell me what you need. Tell me how we can support you. And even if the answer is, I don't know, you are there for them.
Yeah.
And that's what matters. That like, if you care, no one should have to tell you to do this.
Right.
Because it's
how long did
instinct.
it take him? How long did it take him to come down and finally?
I mean, I heard from people there that it was like day 10 or 11 that the mayor showed up.
That's a long time.
That's a long time.
Right? The mayor, that you live there.
Yeah.
It's a small island.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It is inexcusable. There's no.
He must have just been panicking.
Well, you'd have to think. I mean, you're the governor. You leave. The first thing you know a hurricane's coming. Get your emergency team ready, right? Why wasn't the emergency team ready to go?
Well, you know, the county, the head of emergency response for Maui County was on Oahu at a FEMA conference when this happened.
At a happy hour. You know,
why didn't he like we all know you can get on a plane within 30 minutes to fly from Honolulu to Kahului and be there within an hour and a half. He didn't show up there until 1 or 2 days after. And when the mayor was asked, Mr. Mayor, this was a couple weeks after, a reporter said, who was directing the response? Your emergency management guy was not there. Who was the person making decisions in the hours after the wildfire? The mayor said, I don't know. I don't know.
And what about the guy sounding the alarm? Now he resigns. Well, does that mean he's not going to be criminally charged for criminal negligence? And I mean, you're talking 1,000 people.
The guy who was on Oahu when the fires happened, he didn't show his face in public to the media or to the community until 8 or 9 days after the crisis. The guy who should have been talking to the media every single day in the hours and days after, he didn't show his face in public until day 8 or 9. And that was when he said that he didn't regret sounding the alarm system, which is a whole other, like, his response made no sense whatsoever. And then he resigned the day
personally?
after. I don't.
What is the controversy about the alarm system?
So that was the question, was like, Hawaii has a state-of-the-art alarm system. We are the most remote island chain in the world. And as a result, natural disasters is kind of a part of life. Tsunamis or hurricanes,
that's what made it big.
Flooding or whatever the case may be.
We have the best, right? We're supposed to have the best.
They were not sounded because of these fires. And that was the number one question. Why wouldn't you sound the alarm system? We had to wait until 8 or 9 days after when he came out to this press conference and he was asked, do you regret not sounding the alarms? Because they weren't broken. They worked. And he said, I don't regret it. And the reason is because, he says, we have been trained as people, when we hear the alarm, we believe that a tsunami is coming. And we have been trained to know that if a tsunami is coming, you head towards the hills. You head away from the ocean and towards the mountains. That is such bullshit.
Somebody told them that line. That's the best line you can come with.
BJ, you know this because we all get the alarms on our phones.
Yep.
Say, hey, there was an earthquake near Japan.
Yep.
Tsunami may come to Hawaii in 3 days or 4 days. Be aware. And we got all of our geologists and all these people. They're tracking this. We have, like, a tsunami doesn't pop up out of nowhere. That's something that we have. So if that alarm sounds and we haven't gotten that notice, there's something else.
Yeah, and we would know, like this, there's something
was
else.
Smoke.
You just
Like
look at the ocean.
Couldn't they send an alarm to your phones that said there's a fire?
Yes. Yes.
You know, I don't know if he was,
So what happened with the water?